All right, so I've been putting this off for a long time. I told myself when I was about 31 years old and 35 now that by the time I'm 35, I would um, help people invest in real estate. At the time, I only had, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 doors. I had like a fourplex and a couple houses. I'm 35 now, and I have 45,000 square feet of real estate, and um, I'm stabilizing my portfolio right now because I just made some big moves. But probably by April, I'll be at like $16,000 a month of net cash flow. $10,000 principal pay down. So the title of this video, how to get rich in real estate. It's my first video. I mean, I'm not editing it. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. I maybe later down the road, I'll have edited videos, but I like to help people invest in real estate. I like to see the magic happen. I like to see them grow in their understanding of real estate and cash flow. So my story, as far as my journey in real estate, started with my parents. That my dad's a contractor. My mom was stay-at-home mom. She was always in the always in the paper looking for real estate. So my dad would work in construction, come home, and mom would say, "We have to see this house this weekend." They ended up buying it. It'd be a fixer-upper. They'd live in it for a couple of years, and then they'd buy another place, rent that one out, and just keep going and going and going. It's like I grew up like that. And my dad would take us on the job sites and the whole 9 yards, and we would just kind of, go from there. So long and short of it is that I was like, it's in my blood to like be on job sites, be in construction. I watched my parents buy homes, rent homes out. So more or less, it's just in my blood. So how do you explain, how did I get here? Well, luck has a lot to do with it, just quite honestly. But I guess you create your own luck. The basic thing is the universe rewards experts. Not 1 mile or 1 inch deep, a mile wide people. You've got to care. You've got to spend time on it, effort and energy on studying deals. You should be studying 5 deals a day, and I'll show you how to study deals. I started right out of high school. I graduated in June of 04, July of 04. I graduated Bob Hope School of Real Estate, and I've been active in real estate since, after my 6 years in the Army. So when I got out of the Army, when I got out of high school, I went right into real estate. And for about 1.5 years, I practiced real estate. I sold a little over $2 million. I bought a condo, which I totally lost my shirt on. More on that later. I've had my real estate flops, okay, and you're going to have them too eventually if you buy in volume eventually. But I joined the Army. 6 years later, I got out, reactivated my real estate license, and just hit it hard. I got lucky. I met somebody who was a great mentor, and I had an opportunity to do some big deals with that person. And the rest is history. All of the money I made, the extra money I made, I put into real estate. So my first deal I did in 2014, November. I think it was 3091 Willow Avenue in Largo, Florida, on a dirt road. And on the other side of the dirt road was a ditch. And I showed it to my dad, and he said, "You're crazy." I bought it. I think it was an REO. I bought it for like 70 grand. I put like 12 grand into it. I did all the work myself with my dad on the weekends, and I leased it for $1,200 a month. And then 6 months later, I put it on the market for like $125,000 and sold it for $121. That same house today would probably sell for like 200, 220. So that was my first deal, and it was scary. I'll never forget going to the bank, and I got out of the Army in November of 2012. So it took me from that time until November of 2014. So it took me 2 years to save the $85,000 cash, and working 100 hours plus a week, and to put everything that I worked for on the line. Like today, money is so cheap, and you can go get hard money loans and the whole 9 yards, and with somebody like myself, that's, I'm open to, just depends on how much volume I can handle. It depends on how this channel goes, but I'm here to help. You know, I'm just here to like literally get comments, give feedback, give you guys understanding of what, you know, how to process a cap rate, how to get rich, how to get wealthy in real estate. So that was my first deal. Now I'm on like my 62nd or 63rd deal now. So, but, you know, talking about my journey, you know, once I was successful with that, by the time I sold that house, I managed to save another 50 grand and bought a house for so cheap for $45,000. I put like 10 grand into it. And contemporaneously to selling that house, I sold that house like a month later for like 90. So then I'm sitting there with like $200,000 of cash. And then I ended up buying 2 houses and flipping those houses. And yeah, so you know, I just kind of snowballed my money. And then I was obsessed with passive income. What is passive income? Where it's like, hey, I'm making $1,000 a month from this property. I get $2,000 a month of rent, and after paying my mortgage, my taxes, my insurance, everything else, there's $1,000 left that I can give myself every month. It's cash flowing, net cash flowing. $1,000 a month. It makes me 12 grand a year. So it's like I was obsessed with, and I still kind of am, the fact that at the time I was obsessed with how much net cash flow can I get on a monthly basis. It's like, okay, if I need 7 grand a month to live, I need to get to 7 grand a month. So I started holding deals, which was to my detriment, because instead of buying a deal for, you know, at the time, maybe 20, 30% under market value, putting 10% rehab into it and being able to make a 20% margin and keep growing money, I did that over a 6 to 8 month period of time. And then I stopped, and I bought a 4-plex and had like a duplex, and I had like 2 or 3 houses, and I just held them. And I would save money to buy more when I should have sold everything, bought more, sold everything, and just grown that ball of capital. I mean, right now, with a little over 8.4 million of market value of my portfolio, and who knows, it could have been 15 million, maybe 30 million if I would have just expedited my flipping. But you never know what's going to happen in the market, right? So you always kind of have that like in your head, especially if you went through 2006, 7, 8. You're always like, oh, I'm at the peak, or maybe I'm at the peak, and maybe there's going to be, you know, a fallout in the market. It's the whole 9 yards. So you never know. But, you know, you can safely invest in real estate with the right guidance. And that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm an owner of a real estate firm, and I love helping my realtors invest in real estate. It's a passion of mine. And I love analyzing deals. I'm analyzing deals on a daily basis. I always have at least 2 or 3 deals in the hopper. Like right now, I got a duplex that I just bought and sold right away. I've got a commercial property that I'm flipping for, that's 4,500 square feet. I've got it on the market for like 400, a little over 400. I've got a flip house that I'm looking at to buy that we're negotiating. So I'm always buying and selling in my local area. So for me to go look at a deal and give you an opinion on it is not a big deal. And like I said, depends on volume. But yeah, so after I kind of got, you know, I held onto my property for a little bit. I'd save up enough money, and then I'd go buy more. And then I found myself running out of money. So then I literally started borrowing hard money, 100%. Like I'd borrow, like one time I bought a triplex for $135K. I borrowed every cent of it, and I borrowed $30K to remodel it. So I was like, or was it $20K? I forget. I was all in at like 155 or 160. I sold it for $315, like 18 months later. So, but that's how confident I was in my values, because once, and I'm gonna talk about this later, the income capitalization approach. Once you understand the income capitalization approach, valuation model for real estate, it kind of opens up the world to you. It gives you just amazing confidence in investing. So more on that a little bit later, not this video actually. Just going to talk a little bit more about, you know, kind of how I ended up here for a few minutes, and then I'll touch on, you know, what NOI is in real estate, what kind of assets I would suggest you start with, kind of financing structures, and then I'll just kind of, you know, roll into the next video where I talk about nitty-gritty net operating income, income cap approach, and whatever kind of local market you're in, like how to get started. That'll be the next video, like how to get started, and it'll be like the second series of this, you know, how to become wealthy in real estate. So after I had like, I don't know, $400,000 of hard money deployed. I bought like a duplex for 155 and also added 30 grand to the hard money loan. Ended up selling that, I think, for a little over 300 or like 290, like a year later. I just started buying as much as I could with borrowed money. And then I ended up with like, I don't know, a dozen houses, a couple of duplexes, a triplex, a fourplex. I ended up with all these like little houses. And and then I bought a 7-unit apartment. I borrowed $1 million. $1 million. I borrowed $1 million against my cash on real estate. So I put up 1.4 million. It was like a monopoly when you flip over one of your cards. You know, so basically, you know, one of your property cards, and you just like, you mortgage your properties to buy Boardwalk and Park Place or something, or buy houses. So like I had a little over like 1.5 or something like that $1 million of cash on properties, and I borrowed $1 million against it at 7% interest for a 2-year balloon. And I bought a 7-unit apartment complex. I used that money to flip. I went nuts. I ended up selling some stuff, and contemporaneously I bought a 16-unit apartment complex. I started going bigger. I'm like, you know what? I want to start buying bigger properties. And so what happened is I ended up running into a gentleman that like really changed the way that I feel about real estate. And you will get there. You will get to the point where, you know, you're going to start with one duplex or one house, and then you're going to get another one, and then you're going to sell both, and then go buy a 6-unit, and then you're going to have a 6-unit and be like, this is great. I'm going to buy another duplex. Okay, I'm going to sell it all and buy a 15-unit. Like, that is what will happen to you if you keep watching my videos, if you interact with me and you try to learn, because I've literally taught people how to become wealthy in real estate. I've watched them become wealthy. Some of them might have more real estate than I do. I mean, I've lost touch with a few of them. We just went our separate ways. But you know, I'm telling you right now that it's achievable. If I can do it, you know, then anybody can do it. Really, is a story. But anyway, so the person that changed my life was this gentleman that I helped negotiate. As basically his buyer's agent. I helped him negotiate the purchase of a plaza for $2.7 million. And it had like 30-40% vacancy in it. And I saw the numbers, like, and I was running the numbers at full occupancy, like stabilizing this plaza, like 32,000 square foot plaza. And I'm running the numbers on on net operating income, like what it would be. And I'm getting like at a 7% cap rate, I'm getting like a $4.2 million exit price. And I'm like, my God, that's like $1.2 million of equity earned. Like, and it'd probably take you a year to stabilize this place. Helped him buy it, watched him stabilize it, pumping out cash cow, easily worth over 4.5, maybe $5 million. And I mean, you know, it's just insane. And I saw this happen right in front of my own eyes. And I'm over here like, oh yeah, I got 40 grand equity here, or I earned 40 grand equity here, 30 grand there. And I'm doing all this work all over the place and all these balls in the air. And this guy bought one plaza, made like $1.5 million like that, like in a year and a half. And I watched it all in front of my eyes. So sold everything, started buying commercial buildings, medical, office, retail. And that's kind of where I'm at now. Instead of having like 100 doors and 100, you know, families and, you know, 100 service calls a week and all that. I got a 12,000 square foot building with 2 tenants. I've got a 8,000 square foot building with 3 tenants. You know, I've literally have 4 buildings now in aggregate, and then 3 single family homes. One's my house. One's my other house that I moved from, that I just rented out. And I have another house that I bought that I just rent, that's rented out. Those are kind of my personal family homes. And I have like 4 investment buildings, aggregate like 45,000 square feet. Like I said, $16,000 a month at full fruition. So I just made a big kind of shift. I just sold a 16-unit apartment and bought a 10,000 square foot plaza. And so I just have to stabilize that in my 12,000 square foot medical building. is getting viewed by a national tenant this week. Hope to have that leased. I just leased up another unit. So I've got like 2 more units to lease to get to a $16,000 a month net. And then that's the cash flow, right? That's above and beyond. That's after paying all the expenses, including the mortgage. So if you calculated all of my mortgages and you took out the principal pay down, if you look that up, principal pay down on your mortgage is basically, if your mortgage is $3,000 and $1,000 of it goes to paying down how much you owe, and the remainder is just interest. That's the profit the bank is making from you. So like, I'm like right at $10,000 a month. And if you calculate a market value increase of your real estate by, on a national level, 3.5%, maybe on a more localized level, wherever you are, 4, 5, 6%, over, looking at like, 60 years, like 60 years, and you look at the charts and it's like doing this. And then, you've got like 2006, 7, 8 that did this, but then it does this. Like, so that like a T-bond, or just like inflation, like it keeps up with inflation and then some. So if, like, for example, like I said, I'm at like 8.2 or 8.5 million on my portfolio. Let's just say, at 4.5%, 5%, that's a little over 300 grand a year. That's an additional $25,000 a month of benefit. So like, it's all just adding zeros. If you can go buy a duplex for $200,000 and it's a 4%, that it's an increase in value by 4% a year, keeping it with inflation and a little bit more. What is 4%? It's $8,000 a year. Market value increase every year that you can look forward to. And then there's depreciation. So there's appreciation, then you can depreciate your asset, not the land. And then you have, so let's just say that duplex makes $2,000 a month, $1,000 each side. Let's just say taxes is like $300, insurance is $200. You got like a little vacancy built in, like $50 a month or $100 a month. And let's just say you self-manage, and then I challenge you to calculate the debt service on that. I will actually do that right now. The debt service on a $200,000 duplex is, when putting, if you're a veteran, you put nothing down. You can do FHA and live in one side, but you got to put 25% down. 4%, 30-year AM, your principal and interest is $716 a month. So if you're paying $716 a month, in debt service, and like I said, 200 taxes, call it 250. So let's just say that's a G, $100 for or $200 for insurance. That's 1.2. Add another, $150, $200 for it. And we'll break this all down. I'll have like a screen share and stuff for the next video. For vacancy, an escrow for vacancy, maintenance, repairs, all that stuff. Let's just say you're cash flowing $500 a month. So that's $6,000 a year, and you put 25% down. So basically $6,000, you put 50 grand down. So that's like 9%. Well, how much is the principal pay down of that? It's $216 a month. So that's another $2,400 a year. So that pretty much puts you at, so $2,400 a year plus the 6,000 is 8,400 divided by the 50,000. You're making 16.8% on your money. I want you to like really focus on what I just said. So that's like real deal. Like you can find a duplex for easily for 200 grand, 180, something like that. Get $2,000 a month, put 25% down. And after all the expenses, cash flow, $500 a month, makes $6 grand a year. And then if you add principal pay down of 213 or whatever dollars a month, you're getting 16.8% of your money. Where can you get 16.8% of your money just consistently? I'm not even talking about like if we add to that 8,400 a year, we add the 4%, so it's another $8,000 for a market value increase. That's and you're dividing that by 50 grand, you're at 32.8% of wealth building. It's almost like it flips itself every year. Like if a good flip is 30%, think about that. So just to recap my journey, real estate, first generation. My parents immigrated from Poland, early 80s. They met in Chicago, moved down to Clearwater. I'm out of Tampa, Florida. I graduated high school in 2004 in June, bought a Hope School of Real Estate in July. I don't recommend them. I don't not recommend them. I have no partiality for any of those things, so I have no affiliation. Um, I practiced real estate, like you say, for about a year and a half. I didn't really get licensed until I took the test 7 times. 7, 7 times. I was 18 and just not really, all there. I was working a lot, partying a lot. I was in school full time, and I was trying to do real estate. So I sold like a little over $2 million of real estate. I worked with a developer. I was like their in-house sales. My girlfriend at the time, as mom, was the broker there, so she kind of brought me in. And then I joined the Army in June of 06, got back November of 2012, jumped right back into real estate. I, hustled, sold a couple of houses, met a guy, brought me in. We built a tremendous business together over 4 years. I sold like $300 or $400 million or so of real estate to this huge fund, learned so much. And during that time, I took all the money I made and flipped like 20, 30 houses, and built up a portfolio. I think I left with about $1.2 million equity position in my portfolio when I left there in 17 of May. So since 2017 May until now, it's like a little over 4.1 ish, 8.25 face value. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not, if I could do it, anybody can do it. You just have to want to do it. You just have to want to understand. You got to open your ears and understand what I'm saying. And like I'm telling you right now, the income cap approach, it took me a while to understand it. But once you do understand it, and you have that breakthrough, and you just understand rate of return. And for a lot of people, maybe watching this, are like, "No shit, Mike." Like, yeah, rate of return. Look, great, good for you. I'm just, I'm talking to people that maybe don't know about it. But even for you that know rate of return and things like that, let's talk about investing in real estate. Are you investing in real estate? Maybe you have a portfolio, maybe you don't. Do you have a deal you want me to look at? You want to look at a deal together? I like helping people. That's like literally since I was a kid. Like I remember a story from like kindergarten, a kid freaking out and throwing his chair, took him to the side, talked him off a ledge, said, "Hey, relax, dude," brought him back. Teacher thanked me, got like a little reward for it. I just like helping people. I like to help people in any way I can. And on this world, in this existence, I'm obsessed with real estate. It's done very good by me. I'm able to feed my family and then some and enjoy life. I'm 35 years old. And I think that anybody can do it. I think that it's a shame that more people don't own homes and don't own duplexes and triplexes and apartments and things like that and aren't landlords, especially for veterans who can buy them for 0% down, like a triplex or fourplex, up to a fourplex, and live in one and have no mortgage, be a landlord, use your GI Bill, call it the Veteran Cash Flow Starter Kit, check out Veteran Transitions on Facebook. It's really all I got for this video. Like I said, this is raw, uncut. I'm not going to mess with editing and this and that, all kinds of stuff right now. All I'm doing is I'm just jumping off the cliff. These things will get better as I go. Sergeant Hensel out.